My God is more real than your God. In one form or another, that sentence has fueled a lot of bloodshed over the centuries. But behind many of these conflicts, there is one name they all have in common: Abraham. He was meant to be a blessing, not a reason for people to fight. So how did one shared story turn into three separate religions? According to the book of Genesis, Abraham left Ur, spent some time in Haran, and then moved toward Canaan, a land that would later sit at the heart of these religious traditions. But in Abraham's story, the journey itself was never the main point. The real issue was the fear carried inside that journey. Abraham was getting older, and according to the story, he still had no child. And this is where a great promise enters the story. A promise of descendants, a promise of land, and a promise of blessing. Over time, these promises would become pillars of identity, but hidden inside them was a problem. To see it, we need to take one step forward. Years passed, and still, there was no clear sign that Abraham's line would continue. When Abraham was 86 years old, a son was born, Ishmael, through Hagar. And right after his birth, the same promise appears again: descendants, land, and blessing. Then, another son is born, Isaac, through Sarah, and once again, the promise is repeated. So the promise itself is clear. The line will continue, but one question remains unanswered: which branch is the true heir? To answer this question, we must return to one of the most enigmatic and critical moments in Abraham's life: a supreme trial, an ordeal that would later become the ultimate genesis of divergence among the three major religions. In the Torah, the narrative of this trial unfolds through Isaac. In the eyes of Judaism, it is precisely from this pivotal juncture that the course of history is forged. Here, Abraham isn't just a name in history. He is the patriarch of an entire people. This is where the promises of descendants, land, and blessing come together to build the foundation of who they are. In this account, the journey to the altar centers around Isaac. It was a brutal test of absolute faith and loyalty to the covenant. A trial that would forever stand as a powerful symbol. This is where the covenant is no longer just about heart and belief. It becomes identity. It becomes the sign. And it becomes the frontier. And right here, circumcision becomes the physical mark of that frontier. But when an outward sign becomes the boundary of identity, what if an outsider believes in this God? Do they need this mark to be accepted? That single question changed everything in early Christianity. At first, this movement seemed like just another branch of Judaism. The early followers of Jesus saw themselves as continuing that exact same path. So, where did the conflict begin? The real issue was this: did new non-Jewish converts also have to be circumcised? This is exactly where Paul enters the picture. A Jewish man who had once fiercely opposed the movement, only to become one of its greatest messengers. Paul traveled all across the Roman Empire, from busy ports to massive trade hubs. He encountered people who weren't Jewish at all, yet they were deeply drawn to Jesus and the message of his resurrection. In Paul's surviving letters, a radical new idea takes center stage. This story isn't about outward physical signs at all. It's all about a true change of heart and an inner transformation. This fresh perspective opened the doors for the rest of the world to step in. But these ideas didn't just stay on paper. Two completely different views were now standing face to face. This clash was just like a massive fracture, a crack that grew deeper and wider with every passing year, until eventually it split the path into two distinct worlds forever. That is exactly why the leaders of the early church gathered together in a meeting known to history as the Council of Jerusalem. In that monumental moment of decision, the question was simple: did non-Jews have to be circumcised? And the answer was no. That single short no changed the course of history. Christianity slowly stepped out of being just an internal branch of Judaism and set off on a much larger path. The result was two completely separate paths of identity. The disagreement over how to interpret a physical sign was one of the main reasons for this split, though certainly not the only one. In this Christian perspective, Abraham took on a new meaning as well. He became known primarily as the father of faith, someone who trusted God's promise unconditionally. So far, we've seen how a simple sign split the paths of two major religions, but the most fascinating part of the story is yet to come. The point where the narrative suddenly turns the wheel, taking us deep into the deserts of Arabia. In the Islamic tradition, the main branch of the story moves forward with Ishmael. In this account, Ishmael and his mother, Hagar, settle in the land of Hajj. And right here, a crucial question comes to mind. Why did the center of the story suddenly shift? Why does the air change in this narrative? In Islam, that grueling test at the altar is told with Ishmael. The command is given, the agonizing moment arrives, and ultimately, the ram is sent as a substitute. In Islam, this scene is the ultimate symbol of absolute submission and trust in God, a symbol that comes alive again for Muslims every year during al-Adha. In the Islamic account, Abraham isn't just a blood relative, he is the patriarch of an entire ummah, or nation. Traditions say he and Ishmael built the Kaaba together, laying the foundations of Hajj and monotheism in Mecca. In Judaism and Christianity, the story moves forward with Isaac, and in Islam, with Ishmael. And this is exactly where we see how a single event can take on three entirely different meanings across three distinct traditions. One root, three narratives. But when power became intertwined with these narratives, what happened?